clients and marketers are going to have to get smarter about resonating with those audiences and speaking to them in an authentic fashion.
I'm Stephanie Paterik, Editor-in-Chief, and here in the current studio today we have a special guest. Colleen Hotchkiss is President of Growth Practices at Zenith. Colleen, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so Colleen, out of the gate, I'm curious to know what your hot take or your unpopular opinion is on media.
I would say we talk so much and hear so much about the rise of retail media and e-commerce today, and I think that there's opportunity to talk more about brand building and the balance between those two. It's still critically important, and we do this across all of our clients, to really think holistically and end-to-end, and how that brand media and brand building is feeding the demand that we can capture in terms of sales, but equally sustain the long-term health of the brand. So I think as much chatter as there is about retail media and things like that, a little bit more about brand building couldn't be bad either.
It's interesting, your role is centered on growth. What trends are you seeing in the brands that are experiencing growth? What are they doing right?
I think one of the key things are some of the points that we've touched on already in terms of really trying to take that end-to-end mindset. And even if you're not fully there, you're not fully organized to do so, start taking those baby steps, right? I think the consumers aren't experiencing your brand any differently, whether or not it is coming from one budget or another, if we compare kind of brand building or sales and trade. So I think marketers that are moving more in that direction are better. Marketers that are pushing us, and in cases where we're able to work in more of a fashion across kind of creative, media, data, all of the things together, that consolidation and collaboration is really critical. And I think those are places where we're seeing clients win. The other thing that I would say is also brands that are leaning into culture and key moments that can help you resonate with a new audience or can help you resonate with an existing audience, but in a different way. And so that can be about moment-based advertising, that can be about trends that we're seeing. But I think leaning into those cultural moments is also something we're seeing success with.
Is there an example of that?
For sure. I think one good example that's actually from a current client of ours is if you think about nostalgia being one of the trends that's rising in media today. And so when you look at what CoverGirl's recently done in terms of their creative that they've brought back, it's a new product, but it's hearkening back and using some of the original voiceover from the commercial when the brand first launched in 1960s. And so you hear a male's voice, but it's coming out of the fresh new faces of the female cover girls of today. And I think that's a really interesting way where we've played into that nostalgia angle.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just saw, speaking of nostalgia, that the Limited is coming back with the Limited 2.
Oh my gosh, yes, yes.
So
I was shopped there.
90s brand, yes. So yes, I nostalgia for millennials in particular, I think is big. So if you could make a prediction about the future of advertising, what would it be? What's it going to look like?
You know, the reason we call them growth practices because they're things that are of growing importance to our clients and that are driving their businesses forward. So I think we're going to continue to see influence from diverse communities that are going to impact the content we consume, the channels that we're using, and our clients and marketers are going to have to get smarter about resonating with those audiences and speaking to them in an authentic fashion. Influencers and creators are a great way to do that. And then I'm eager also to figure out how we continue to make more connected and commerce experiences for everyone, because at the end of the day, our jobs are all to be moving our clients' business forward. And so if we're not doing that, we're not succeeding.
As a content person, I'm curious about that. Do you see content and commerce continuing to move closer together?
I do. And I think there's a variety of ways to think about it, right? If you're thinking specifically within kind of a retail media network or a retail media space, there's obviously how our brands and products are showing up on the digital shelf and what does that look like and what is most appealing that's going to get a consumer to click to buy, whether that's more videos or ratings and reviews and things of that nature. Then there's also the reality that everything is increasingly becoming shoppable, whether it's a QR code within a TV commercial or a video spot, to a shoppable kind of branded integration environment that we're starting to see with more of the interactive TV and video partners. So I absolutely see content and commerce coming closer together in that. The reality is content is what is going to engage you and inspire you to make that purchase. So definitely I see them intrinsically linked.
Okay. The marketing funnel is dead.
Yes.
Agree or disagree?
Agree.
That was like a hard agree.
Yeah, I was like ahead of the question there. I was like, absolutely. The journey's just not linear like that anymore. Any occasion or interaction that a consumer has with a brand is an opportunity to inspire and to make a sale. And none of us are sitting there, well, I'm not anyway, sitting there just watching TV or just listening to a podcast. I'm unfortunately multitasking and have multi avenues. And I think that's just a reality we have to accept with and make sure that we're doing our best to break through, knowing that that's what consumer experiences are.
Colleen, thank you so much for joining me in the studio today. I have loved this conversation.
Thanks so much. It's been really great talking.